Welcome to the Honest Health Podcast with your host, Jeffrey Burke. Honest Health brings you the brightest minds in the natural products industry, as well as athletes and entertainers. Jeff will keep you entertained and informed while educating on how to be successful on your healthy journeys. Now, here's your host, Jeffrey Burke.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Burke, and today's recording was pre-recorded with my very dear friend Sally Byrd. I'm so sorry to say that Sally is no longer with us. We lost her long before her time last week, and I wanted to make sure that people were aware of this great loss, and I also wanted to celebrate our great friendship with today's show. And she was an amazing individual in our industry, very loving, very caring, very knowledgeable, and a wonderful industry insider. So we wanted to make sure that Sally was recognized for all her hard work. And once again, she will be very, very missed. So please enjoy today's conversation with Sally Byrd. Hello, my name is Dr. Jeffrey Burke, and welcome back to Honest Health with Jeffrey Burke, the podcast. I'm so glad you're here. You know, a lot of you know me from my radio shows over 4 decades that I was on the air, enlightening you with great information, updates, new advances, working with the best minds and the best people I possibly could in our industry, the cream of the crop, if you will. And I was also able to work with a lot of companies that were just starting out, companies that were just launching their wonderful, individuality, if you will, and their wonderful products with all the new technology. Every time something new came up, we talked about it because I've been trying to keep you all in the know. So I ended that radio show last year, and now I'm on my new platform, my new podcast. But I get to revisit those relationships with these amazing people so that you have a one-stop place to go for the best, most up-to-date information from the best minds in the natural products industry. Today is no different. My guest, Dr. Sally Byrd, is with us today, and I think you're going to really enjoy this show. Dr. Sally Byrd is a board-certified traditional naturopath, a licensed body worker, and a master teacher with the Institute for Human Individuality. With over 4 decades of professional experience, she has amassed a wealth of knowledge in the field of nutrition and living well. Help me welcome my guest. Hey, Sally.
Hello, Dr. Jeffrey. It's so awesome to be on this podcast with you. I'm thrilled. And
I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. You know, we've done so many shows over the years. It was always so exciting to have you on. I would open my calendar in the morning and I'd say, oh, good, Sally's on today. So I think it's going to be great. So let's get people familiar with you. Anything you want to say about your many, many decades in the industry?
Well, I'll say this, time will either promote you or expose you. So it was really important to me when I was just starting out as a student and going through the educational process with application that it was important to walk my talk, that I could be age well gracefully and do it with caring for people at the same time. You have to have medicine with a heart. And that's what I've really tried to do over these decades of health and wellness. And it's been wonderful. We've been able to help so many people. Jeffrey, I know you do the same thing. You have a big heart. And it's important that we remember the heart. It's really important in this world today because the medicine is here. It's on the earth. It's all around us. And God made this earth so that we would have minerals and plants and healthy water. And nothing's really changed. Sometimes the more man tampers with things, the more complicated it is. So we really need to get back to basics and use and enjoy what's around us to stay well.
Beautifully put. And I have to tell you, it's something that I enjoy very, very much. So many of my friends are retiring and they're, enjoying their retirement and that kind of stuff. And I can't even imagine. I just can't. There's so many things that I still want to learn, so many things I need to relearn, so many things that have yet to be discovered, so many people that I have yet to come in contact with and be able to bring their story out here so people can learn more about them, because it's all about information and education. And as I travel around the country, which I do extensively, I run into people. Many people have been listening to my radio shows. Once streaming happened, you had people everywhere listening. But, now with the podcast, people will be able to fit us into their schedule, and they'll be able to listen to the shows, when it's convenient for them. They're driving or working out or they're sitting around the house. To me, it doesn't matter. I just want to get the information out and make it available. And I think this is going to be a fun topic today. I know we're going to be talking about colloidal silver today. Now, interestingly enough, some people may be learning about it for the very first time, but obviously it's been around for quite a while.
Centuries.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around for centuries. It is nothing new. Silver is a mineral, really. It's been put in this earth for human use and also use for animals and many other industries, as modern technology is using it in all kinds of things, from water filters to refrigerators to purification processes and things like that. And also as a conduit for frequency in many types of machines and things. However, many centuries ago, ancient civilizations were using silver to prevent mold and bacteria from infiltrating water systems, to keep wine from turning into vinegar, to keep royalty healthy by eating on sterling silver utensils was like a daily immune support. So silver's been used even in the exploration of many countries. In the Wild West, they would use pure silver in barrels of rainwater, again, to purify the drinking water. They did the same thing with the exploration in many desert territories and countries like Australia. It was very popular. And in the world wars, silver was used to sterilize wounds, which today it still is. And it's much healthier for your skin to use a natural product that doesn't destroy your natural defenses. And silver gel is still used in many hospitals. We're familiar with silver in many burn and emergency care units. It's a different form of silver, and it's mixed with some different types of ingredients like a Vaseline type product. But it is used, and it is still on people's list for wound care and protection. What's really cool now is, with the advent of science and many universities' assistance, we have been able to manufacture an advanced form of silver that actually involves nanotechnology mixed with a frequency, a resonant frequency, so that silver can be stable and effective and not destroy your healthy microbiome. And it can be used on a daily basis as needed, or you can use it when you feel something coming on and you're just not feeling right. You can use it in a weight loss system. You can use it pretty much in any type of care to keep the toxin load down in your body so that your body can work on restoring itself.
Interestingly enough about silver, I'm a big advocate. I take silver every day. I'm a big advocate of the gels and the nasal sprays, and traveling as much as I do. I use it as almost like a hand sanitizer. I use the lozenges, which have been just a absolute savior for me. I actually have one in my mouth right now. I always have one in between my teeth and my gums when I'm doing a show. And, just because it keeps everything moist, and it just keeps the soreness and the irritation of the back of your throat. And I've told you this story before. I've been on planes, and I'm on many of them, and I've handed lozenges out to people that were coughing. And I said, I know you don't know me, but you might want to try this. I know you're struggling over here. And by the end of the flight, they're just like, what was that? And so I tell them about it, and they're just like, I've never, ever heard of that before. And I think to myself, sometimes, we're in the know because we're in it and around it all the time. And, we're doing studies, and we're reading published studies, and we're talking, and we're lecturing, and we're at shows, and we're talking to both retailers and consumers and people. We just do it so naturally because we're knee deep in it all the time. But not everybody is. And, I just got to tell you, Sally, as I travel around the country, something really hit me really hard. I sometimes go to small little towns, and I'll stop in, and they'll have a health food store, and I'll stop in because I want to patronize, and I'll pick some things up. And I asked them questions. I said, do you see reps from companies? They're like, no. I said, do you ever see educators? And they're like, no, we really don't. And I thought to myself, that is the reason that I wanted to do this. I want to have a platform where people everywhere who work with customers or for their own knowledge have a place where they can go, and they're not sifting through, a whole bunch of stuff. They can go and they could say, okay, we're talking colloidal silver today. Jeff has got the best person on for that. Or we're talking about mushrooms. He's got the best person on for that. Bringing all this wonderful talent so that places like these little health food stores, in the middle of nowhere, have a platform to learn, because this is important stuff. Our world is not healthy. We have more diseases, more cardiovascular problems, more skin problems, more immune problems. We saw a lot of that over the last couple of years, how quickly our immune systems can fall apart. So, colloidal silver is becoming even more important. Do you agree?
Absolutely. There is still a need for education for a low cost form of nutritional help, I'll say, because people, are not in a very healthy state. And with the last few years of living on this planet, I think their health and wellness is becoming more of a priority than maybe entertainment, for instance. They're starting to put priorities in check. And if you don't feel good, you're not going to be a happy, productive, healthy person. You're not even fun to be around. I mean, when people are sick, they're grouchy. They're not excited to even go to their job. And when you can give somebody a smile, encouragement, have them feel better, hand out a lozenge, Jeffrey, because I do the same thing. It makes people smile, and they're a whole lot nicer to travel with or be in a business meeting with. You don't want to go into a store and have someone be sick to wait on you, for instance. Or even if you're calling in on an online business, if someone's coughing and they're just grouchy, they're not nice, it goes down the chain. It all starts at the top. So let's see what we can do to help people feel better, spread the word out there that there's products out there that can help you stay healthier and live a happier lifestyle because you feel better.
Now, we've talked about how purification is a big part of this. We've talked about using it on the skin in many different ways as well. When we take the liquid internally, there's really no flavor. I mean, it's like, it tastes just like water. It's like drinking, it's clear, it's beautiful. Why would we want to take it internally? And the second part of that is, do we use it only when we need it, or can we use it on a preventive basis as well?
That's a great question. Personally, I use it every day since I think 2005, for many, many years.
Me too.
And because it takes the load out, it's like taking your garbage out every day. So your body doesn't have to work as hard, which long term even helps with healthier weight and better organ health. So your liver works better, your pancreas works better, it keeps the yeast down, it keeps, all types of debris out of your system. It's a constant cleaning, a sweeping in your body. And many people don't want to take it every day. However, they'll load as soon as they feel something coming on, like a scratchy throat, they feel their sinuses starting to act up, or they'll use it in case of emergency, which is fine. It's just you do not need to use as much if you do a lower dose more frequently. It just keeps the alarms down. They don't blast in your face so much when you get sick.
I have this routine in the morning that I like to, I have a little shot glass and I'll put my silver in there, a little bit of water, and I'll put it in my mouth and after I brush my teeth and floss and do all that, and I start swishing as I get into the shower. And I will swish and gargle, swish and gargle, swish and gargle, while I'm in the shower. And eventually I'll swallow it. But I'm thinking to myself, I get it between and under the gum lines. I gargle with it for the back of my throat. And then eventually I, use it for my whole body by swallowing it. But just kind of a habit, and I do that on the road as well. I always carry a bottle with me, and because you don't know what kind of pathogens, you don't know what kind of germs and bacteria we can't control what we come in contact with. All we can, and that's once in a while, control the things that how our body reacts to those things that we're coming in contact with. We have a better chance of that.
Exactly. And I love the fact that you swish it in your mouth, Jeffrey, because so many people have biofilms in their teeth and in their gums, and they don't know, why am I getting more cavities? Why are my gums bleeding? Why are my gums receding? And what you are doing is actually eating through the biofilms without any duress on healthy probiotics in your oral microbiome or your mouth. So what we have found through research is that daily use of drinking the silver, using the oral care products, they do have a toothpaste and a gel. The tooth gel, when you leave it in your mouth or you swish for a while in your mouth, it actually breaks down the biofilm so that your teeth can even remineralize, which is fantastic. And your gums start a healing process. So if you're taking extra vitamin C or CoQ10, or you're using herbs like myrrh or cloves, it all works together, these natural products. It's really a wonderful synergistic blessing for your body.
It's been a godsend for me in so many different ways. People that know me and have been listening to me for a long time know that one of my weak spots are my ears. I have terrible hearing problems. I only have a certain amount of hearing. I was not supposed to have any by this point in my life, but I still have enough, and I have to wear special headphones and things like that. And I find myself turning into that person that has the TV up louder and, all that kind of stuff. But when I get an ear infection, I get really scared. Because if I think if the ear infection is bad enough, it may take away what I have left. So I use silver. And I will lay my head down and put half a cap full of the silver in my ear, and you kind of feel it go all the way down. And, and about 15 minutes later, I've learned I put cotton in, and then I'll turn my head over and do the other ear. And the reason I do that, and I may just be thinking that it makes a difference, but it seems like if I have an ear infection in one ear and I don't do the other ear, it's like that ear infection almost jumps to the other ear, and then I get one in that ear as well. I don't get them often like I used to. So I do both ears, and then an hour or so later, I take the cotton out, and usually if I hit it at that first kind of weird sensation, by the next day, it's gone. And it's just, of course, I'll take a little bit more internally and suck on more lozenges during the day because, I want to do everything I can. So it's been a godsend, and it's quite amazing. I met a lady on a plane last week, and we were talking about the tooth gel. And we're talking about the brand Silver Biotics. Of course, you can get Silver Biotics at wonderful health food stores near you. You have a tooth gel, which I really, really like. And she had just had dentures put in. And she said, please excuse me, but I've got to pop this denture out. I said, no problem. She said, my gums are screaming. So I gave her my card and I told her, where to go. She actually lived in Los Angeles, and I told her where to go. And she sent me an email like 2 days later. She's been using the gel on her gums at night, and then during the day under her dentures, she said they completely stopped hurting. So she was overjoyed. And, just one of those conversations, you got a 3-4 hour flight. If you're lucky enough to have somebody that wants to talk next to you on the plane, it's amazing how much information you could pass on.
That's a great story, because many times people don't realize it's the bacteria causing the pain. So the tooth gel eradicates the bacteria and smooths out the tissue because it has xylitol in it. It also helps to hydrate the tissue, so it's a win-win.
You know, someone in the industry, I told them I was going to be having you on, and they said, "Would you ask Sally a question for me? I should know the answer, but I'm never really sure." And I said, "Absolutely." So the question is, because colloidal silver, does kill bad bacteria and things like that, and actually works on even viral strains and things like that, how does it work against our probiotics? Does it destroy our probiotics? Do they hold hands and work well together? Do I need to take my probiotic at a different time of my silver? They were trying to get clarity.
It's an excellent question. The reason why Silver Biotics uses lower potency silver is because we don't need to use the mega dosages. We can do better, effective work with less damage on the body using a lower potency between 10 ppm. We do have a medical grade, it goes up to 35. But even our supercharged silver, if we go over I believe it's 44 ppm to 50 ppm, we will start eradicating more healthy bacteria. So right now, with the research that we have, we kill about 2%, which is nothing. It's so low, but other silvers can literally wipe you out. If you get a high ppm ionic silver without the resonant frequency coating, it falls into your body and you have no recourse. When we do have some people who will use the gel in other areas of their body, including vaginally for ladies, there is a higher kill count there. It can go up to 30%, but the body will restore it quickly in a few days, and it's less than taking many gynecology type of application of meds that ladies will use sometimes. So it is still less, but there is more in the vaginal microbiome than anywhere else on the body.
It's amazing how many stories, over the years we've done so many radio shows together. People will say, I burnt myself cooking and I put my silver on there and the redness was gone in no time, took out the sting, and spraying it on for sunburn, and, using it on my face when I was out in the sun too long, or I had scrapes or bug bites, and so many different stories that are out there. And then we have the people that are doing professional tattooing. They're using it, helping people heal a lot faster. I mean, there's so many uses of silver, and I just love that you guys are continually developing new products. So I mean, you should see my bathroom counter. Toothpaste, tooth gel, liquid, lozenges. I mean, I've got them all. But the thing is, you know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything because I've seen the results and I know what it does and I've seen it work on me. I'm not going by somebody else's feedback, which a lot of times I love to hear. But I also, when you experience it yourself, sometimes you'll stand back and say, wow, that is quite amazing. Like the nasal, people that get clogged up. We're going into allergy season out here in Las Vegas, and, the silver is amazing what it can do.
Yeah, the vertical sprayer was introduced last year and many, many people like it. And you could even use it not just in your nasal area. Some people, you could use it to target even in your ears because it's easy. It's like a little squirt gun. You can put it there. You can put it in other areas of the body and it's easy to refill. But it's quite convenient and it's travel friendly in case you're flying on an airplane. It'll pass through TSA.
It's just so wonderful, and it's nice that we have something that's available. I'm a big advocate of using it on a regular basis because I mean I do have some people that use it medicinally. They use it when they're feeling sick or something's coming on and all that, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, to me, I think only because of my lifestyle, because I'm in so many different places and so many different environments around so many different people, in planes, Ubers, airports, and so. You know the drill.
Yes.
And as much as I love it, I just try to go that extra step to prepare myself. And, I've learned so much from you over the years about the silver. And, it's something that I have a huge belief system in.
One thing I've discovered, especially in the last few years, Jeffrey, when we go out, we were putting the silver in our nose, we're putting it on our hands. Sometimes I even put an extra layer on my face, because of environmental pollutions. I was just up in New York, and it's just we're just so used to doing it. But we can go out and travel, shake people's hands, give them a hug, and we don't have any fear about it because fear drives down your immune system. So it adds a whole nother level of protection when you're protected by a really great product.
What's funny is during the pandemic when people were doing all these little tricks and things, and you had to wear masks and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's definitely a different topic. But I was on the planes, and this lady sitting next to me, she goes, I use that gel from them because I had the lozenges out. She says, you know what I do is I mix a little bit of it with a little Vaseline, and I put it inside both of my nostrils, and then I put my mask on. And she goes, it just kind of keeps it in place there, the whole time that I'm surrounded by a lot of people. And she said the reason I'm a cancer survivor. And she said, so I want my immune system to stay strong. And she said, as of now, and this was, I think, the middle of 2022, she goes, I have not got sick. She's in her late 70s. And she goes, and I've been doing this since the beginning. And she goes, and I feel comfortable traveling, now that we're able to travel. But she says, this is my little added extra that I do. So, of course, on my next trip, I had a little Vaseline, a little bit of silver gel, putting it up my nose. And it took me a little while to get used to it, kind of feeling there. But, why not? I mean, I listen to people. I try things.
Yes, and that is really a cute story because she's confident now. And she can travel. She's not afraid. Travel is so wonderful to do. Whether you do it for business or pleasure, it really allows you to see so much, and it makes us appreciate things that we have. Another thing you could put in your nose is the healing cream. That's also another option. Some people like the thick cream because there's coconut oil in it, hyaluronic acid, and the silver with some vitamin E in it. So you can spot that also.
I never thought of that, and that's in my bathroom too. So I have a whole little silver biotic section in my bathroom, so I'm good with that too. I have a friend that she had worked with a dermatologist and a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, and she just had an acid peel. And she went with her really good friend, and they both had these peels done. Oh, they look ghastly. And I know it's ghastly after you get them done. So the one used the hydrocortisone and all that kind of stuff, and the Neosporin and all that stuff on hers. And the other one called me. She goes, can I spray silver all over my face throughout the day? I said, absolutely. So they went back like 3 weeks out, just to kind of check. And it was night and day. My one friend who used the silver, her face looked amazing. Skin was, rejuvenating, and a lot of the redness had gone away. The other one still had all the redness. It was a little bit of oozing going on. I think she had a little bit of infection. She had to get some antibiotic creams, stuff to use. But the doctor was like, what did you do? And she said, I called somebody who I know and I've been listening to for decades. And he said to spray the colloidal silver. And he goes, well, silver's a healer. He goes, that was a good idea. He goes, I'm going to recommend that, because it was like night and day. And so, you learn new things along the way. And, I had a friend recently that went to Turkey and had hair transplants done. I guess Turkey's the place to go for that now. And so he was spraying the silver all over the top of his head, and he healed almost 3 times faster than they could have even imagined. So silver is amazing. We just need to be reminded of it. We need to try it. We need to find the product or products within the line that give us a little bit of an edge, because today we have to work a little harder to be able to stay healthy, to get healthy, to be healthy, all those things, and never be afraid to ask questions.
It's good to have the edge, and anything, we think just put some silver on it has been our tagline, like in my family for years, just put some silver on it.
We use the silver liquid with the horses. They have breathing apparatus that they put over the horse's mouth, and it's like a breathing machine, like a nebulizer. And we'll put silver in there with the water, and they'll breathe that silver steam down into their lungs when they're having some bronchial problems, or maybe they're bleeding from the lung, which happens to a lot of horses that run. but they'll use that. We've used it on wounds. We use it on sores. It helps with the healing underneath the bandages. I've used it on my dogs. One of my French bulldogs gets weird ear things going on. I put silver in her ears. She don't like it. But I have to hold her head for a minute to let it get down there, and I'm rubbing it long because I know she's going to shake her head, so I need some to stay down there. But I try to reach for things, kind of going back to like when my grandmother was growing up. You reach for the things that you know about, that you've learned about, or you're thinking it could be a good idea. Back then they brewed a lot of their own herbs, and they used barks and leaves and trees. And before many of these medicinal medicines were around, you go back to, ancient Greece, and you go back far enough and you see that people have been using some of the things that are on the planet, like you mentioned, for us for a long time. And what's interesting is with all the technology that we've had come our way over the last, let's say, 3 decades, there's still a lot of things that have been used for the longest time, and we're still going back to them because we've seen the results and they're still applicable today.
And you know what else? They're safe.
Yeah.
That's a biggie right now, is people are reacting to a lot of these hardcore drugs. They're not happy. It's stressing out their immune system even more. So you are safe with silver. We also say that a lot. You're safe with silver.
And I think once you try something in the category, you're going to want to try other things. It's to me, it's just a routine. I've always got a pocket full of lozenges with me, and when I get low, I go crazy. So I have to find them and get them. Even if I'm traveling, I'll find them where they are, and I'll pick up a couple bags just to have them with me, because I give probably 30% of them away, to people that I run into, because you're always running around people. You're in close proximity these days. There's no more 6-foot thing. You're on top of people again. And, so you want people to not be suffering. There's nothing worse than being on a 5-hour flight with yourself and you're coughing and sneezing and you're just so uncomfortable. In the back of your mind, you're so worried people are thinking you're really, really, really sick. And you might just have allergies or a little sniffle. And all of a sudden somebody just hands you a lozenge and your throat stops irritated, and it just feels better and you stop coughing. That's like, what a gift.
It is. It is. It really is. So I choose to use silver pretty much for everything. I'll even use the liquid as a facial toner sometimes. And then we have a serum, or you can put the facial gel, the hydrogel as we call it, the silver gel. It actually helps to shrink pores, and it will keep your skin clean, so that whatever you put on top of it, the frequency of the gel pulls the nutrition in from serums, other creams, deeper into the skin. And that's why people get results faster. It's always the frequency is the key to this product.
Well, I really appreciate this. To me, this is like wonderful to be able to have this platform and have you right on at the very beginning of my platform, because I think it's that important. And, like I said, we have a great relationship. We've done a lot of shows. We've educated a lot of people, and, we'll be doing it again upcoming soon. And, so I want to thank you for being here. Dr. Sally Byrd, anything you want to say in closing to my listening audience?
Yes. You've got to take control of your health. It's the now time to move ahead with natural products for protection, for your health, for your lifestyle, and take a look and do some of your own research. And never let somebody else's opinion of you become your reality. No matter what anybody says, look it up for yourself, because there are so many answers right around you, like right under our nose, with great products to help you live a healthier, happier life right now.
I love it. So remember, everybody, make sure you tell your friends. It's the Honest Health Podcast with Jeffrey Burke. The easy way to move yourself around is go to my webpage, drjeffreyburke.com. When you get there, you can click on the platform that you want to listen to. And if it's available, you can actually watch the interview on the YouTube channel as well. We're going to be putting certain ones on there as well. But just, tell your friends. It's so important to pay forward information, because you may be just that person that's giving them the information they need to be healthier or happier or just better in general. So I hope you'll take the time to tune in. Going to have the best of the best on there, just like I did today with Dr. Sally Byrd. Sally, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Jeffrey, and much success with further shows.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more information from the Honest Health Podcast with Jeffrey Burke. And make sure to check back often for interviews and conversations from the guests we all want to hear from. I'm John the Announcer. Thanks for listening.